Our guest in studio now is Caleb Lohner of the men's basketball team, who are just crushing it right now as well. Caleb, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing well. How are you guys?
I'm good.
Good.
You excited for baseball season, rocking the Rangers hat here?
I don't know.
Texas had some big signings.
Yeah, they did actually.
Yeah.
I know Coach Burgess wasn't happy about one of them.
Yes.
The LA.
Corey Seager.
Yep.
Coming over, yep.
When Caleb came in, before we came on, he sat down and I was giving him a little bit of we were talking in shoot around the other day. Caleb was right by me, and he made 3 straight like bottom of the net swishes, right, from all the way out on the emblem, almost inside of half court. And I turned to Caleb and said, "You have my permission to shoot that anytime you're on that emblem tonight." He gave me a thumbs up, so I was expecting that shot, but instead, he told me that he decided to do that baseline throwdown. He felt like that was
I think that was pretty good.
that was better for the crowd.
Yeah.
It was better for the crowd.
What was that moment like for you?
There's a little more flow in the offense with that, you know.
You need like an end of half situation there. Although, let's be honest, like it feels like 3 of the past 4 or 5 games, you guys have made a bucket in the last like 3 seconds as we see the dunk.
we
It's
see
awesome.
the one.
Of the first half. Like you guys have been able to execute
We have.
great plays at the end of the halves.
Yeah. And I think every single bucket that we've had right before the half has been huge because it's been just kind of like a complete momentum shifter, which has been awesome. Going into halftime, I know it's like a big confidence boost.
And St. Mary's was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Foose laying that in, it was like everyone was juiced. Yeah.
Is that something like it's happened more than once? Is that something that the mindset of this team is, hey, wait a minute, we're not going into the locker room like this. We've got to make some plays down the stretch. Is that a conscious thing, or has it just happened?
I think so. I think it's just guys making plays. I mean, there's all sorts of dudes, but T-John making the pass to Seneca. There's a few games ago, Spencer had a steal for a layup. Just guys being super aware of the clock and then just making a play.
Okay, do you care whether you're a top 25 team or not? This team's just one out. We thought you'd be in. Does that matter to you?
Personally, I don't think I think about it, but I mean, as a team and as a collective, yeah, it's really cool to look at your team and see that in the net that you're ranked in the top 25. But that'll come.
That matters more than the opinion-based polls.
Yes.
So AP poll today, you're one
Yes.
out, but you would
25
say
and net.
you would be more worried about net because that has effect on seeding in the NCAA. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, probably. But I mean, at the end of the day, like we're just gonna keep doing our thing, and like I mean, this has happened the last few years, but we know if we keep winning and we keep playing the way we are, everything's gonna turn out fine.
Yes, it will. And we're talking about a few, as Gregor Bell called them quad jumpers. Missouri State beats Loyola Chicago, jumps into quad 1. Oregon, we've been waiting for Oregon sort of be a better win.
Yeah.
It's quad 1, which is awesome. St. Mary's climbed in the top 30 home game. That's quad 1. Are you guys looking at the team sheet as players, or is that more of a coaching staff thing?
I think it's more of a coaching thing. I mean, I think as a player, there's already so much you're worrying about, and so if you kind of overload your mind with too much stuff, it's probably not a good idea. So we just take it game by game, go over the game plan, do what we got to do, and yeah.
And this team's kind of had to reinvent itself. We talk about Oregon moving into a quad 1, and that seems like a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And since the beginning of the year, you guys started the year, you're probably going to play a lot of 3, play some 4. Probably rarely have to play the 5 because they'd have Richie there and they'd slide Gavin down. Then
You were for a sec.
Yeah.
You're playing a lot of 5.
Yeah, well, now and now all of a sudden, Richie goes down. Gavin has the ACL tear. This team's had to reinvent itself. How have you guys been able to just keep this thing on the rails and continue to get better without those 2 guys?
I think just trusting each other. Like we're all working for the same thing, and we all have the same goals for this team. And I mean, yeah, we had some rough injuries at the beginning of the year, and even in my spot, I definitely looked at it as like, dang, now I'm probably going to be moved a little bit in a different direction of this team. But for me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to do what I can to help this team win. I know that everybody's been stepping up on this team to make huge plays and help win games, which I know everyone's seen, which, again, just speaks to the character of this team. But, yeah, I think we've kind of started to reinvent ourselves, and we're starting to feel this flow, at least personally. That's what I feel. But I think the backbone of all of that is just trusting each other. I think everyone's starting to trust each other more on the offensive end of the floor, on the defensive end of the floor, moving the ball, being in the right spot on defense. So
You mentioned that your role's different than it was maybe with Rich and Gav out there. What do you see your role right now? Like, what do you need to do to help this team win?
I think a little bit of everything. I need a guard, I need to rebound the ball. finish around the rim, be a leader on the floor, talking to guys. And so I'm kind of happy for that role. Like I want to step up in that leadership spot and just keep building off of that. But it's been a fun year.
We're talking to Caleb Lohner, sophomore on the BYU men's basketball team here on BYU Sports Nation. Walk me through the mental journey you go on of being a freshman, coming in. And I don't know if it's everybody like this, but I would imagine in that position, you're like, dude, at some point I'm going to be the guy and I'm going to average 20 a game or whatever. But that's not always the case, right? Alex Barcelo 3 seasons ago was a 9-point-a-game guy, fourth option. Now he's like the alpha offensively, right? How have you navigated that of like, all right, your role is X, Y, Z, and maybe when you showed up, it was ABC?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, we want to win. And so if my role has to be something that is a little bit different than what I thought it would be to win, I'll do it. And I think that's more important to have the team's agenda than mine because, again, we all got each other's back. Like, we all trust each other. And so, to me, that's more important.
And that's not to say that you won't be that in the future. Just now.
But for right now.
That's what this team needs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this team seems to, and you're in the locker room and you're out on the floor, you know way better than us looking from the outside. And we're a little closer than most because we're sitting there with you in practice and those kinds of things. But it seems like everybody has that mentality. Like, hey, whatever I need to do. Seneca Knight was a leading scorer at San Jose State, one of the top scorers in the Mountain West Conference, and he comes and is playing a different role. But to a man, does everybody feel the way you do?
I think so. And I think everyone's starting to understand, like, hey, if we want to be as good as we can possibly be, this is just what we have to do. And we all talk about sacrifice all the time, and I think it's just a perfect example of guys sacrificing for something bigger than themselves.
That's awesome. And we've seen that on the defensive end, where this team's so good on defense and rebounding. What has it taken to be this good?
Practice, tons of film, and then just the same mindset every day in practice and every day in the game. I think it's like a beat down of the same things so much that your mind actually starts to accept that's what you have to do.
What things are you talking about?
Like going to the glass, talking on defense, like being in the right spots, because in practice, if you're not in the right spots, you're going to get yelled at or you're going to run. But it's just kind of the classic stuff, but we do it so much. We do the same things every day. We work on footwork. We work on defense. We go over the game plan a million times. And so I think just the repetitiveness of that helps us all be in those spots.
It's interesting, Caleb. I asked Mark Pope the other day, like, because you guys have had some games where you're not shooting the ball great for stretches, pretty big stretches in the game, yet you continue to get stops and rebound the ball, and you're still in the game. And then you can win it at the end. I go, how does this team keep this mentality? And then he says, well, I think these guys understand that we have to do those things or we can't win with this group. So they understand the urgency of it. But then right after that, you guys go to practice. I'm not going to say who it was because it wasn't Caleb. And he said, if that's the way you're going to play defense, then why don't you just tell me right now? This is what Mark said. Why don't you just tell me right now and just tell everybody, I just don't want to play, coach. I don't want to be on the floor. I do not want to play. Because it would be easier than me sitting here watching you not do it. If you would just tell us all that that's what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Then the player didn't say anything, and he said, oh, okay, then let's do it then, right?
Yeah.
And that's not unusual for market practice, right?
No. But, I mean, it's just the same thing. Like, if we want to win and if we want to be as good as we got to be, that's important. And so coach is trying to just reiterating, like, how important that is, because we've shown throughout the year, like, that will win us games.
Did you play with Foose at Wasatch for a year or two?
I did.
How long was it?
That team had to be ridiculous.
Yeah, we were pretty good.
And Richie Saunders as well, right?
Yeah, crazy, right?
Washington.
Yeah.
How many years was it with Foose there?
I was there about a year and a half because I was only there about half of my junior year. So
Gotcha.
The
That's
spring
when you showed
semester,
up?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what was he like when he showed up versus what he's like now?
So I got there to Wasatch. I think it was he's only been there for about 2.5 years, and he was very, very quiet. Like, even being around him now sometimes is like a shock to me, just like how lively he is and the things he says, because I remember 2 years ago, that's just not how he was. And so I think he's just getting more and more comfortable with speaking English and more comfortable with, like, being in this position. But I love that dude, man. He's awesome.
He had a moment in the Portland game where I was like, oh, he feels really comfortable now. He got an and one, and he kind of looked at the guy for a sec, nodding his head.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we've reached another level here. His growth potential is incredible. What have you seen him kind of become here, having been with him for a couple of years now?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's becoming incredible. Just even his help that all the things he does for this team are just really special. Like, there's not a lot of guys like Foose that can kind of do it all, and that have such like a good attitude about everything that you do. And every time you see him, he's gonna smile. You look at him, he's gonna smile. So he just brings an energy and a light to this team that I think is really important for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that dude's awesome. There's a really cool picture I'm probably gonna post, but I have like my arm around him and I'm like screaming at him. There's all the students holding their little flags and the birthday candles.
Right, from Saturday night.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Okay, we're looking for that on social media today.
Great photo.
That's awesome. Santa Clara coming up. Sneaky tough game on the road. Your thoughts on Santa Clara?
It's going to be a tough game. Every road game, every game in this league is going to be a tough game. But if we go into this game with the same mentality, having prepared the way we do, we're going to be fine.
Well, congrats on the success. It's been fun to see you break out offensively a little more, and we're looking forward to a big game Thursday.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Hey, and for the record, every time I see like Travis Kelce and these guys in these NFL games, I'm like, Caleb could play that spot in the NFL. I think you'd be an NFL team.
I dream about that sometimes. It's like my guilty pleasure.
and you're
Especially
from
with
Texas,
the Cowboys.
football,
I'm like,
right?
They need some help.
They need some help. You can play.
Just put me in. I'll put on 30 pounds and throw me the ball.
Mark it down when
Caleb's
Caleb's done.
more.
When Caleb's done, we
tight
know
end.
Kellen. We know their offensive coordinator. We know him well, so we're gonna let him know. When Caleb's done with basketball, mark it down. We're the first ones that knew he was gonna play in the NFL as a tight end.
You could be Jordan Cameron. Jordan Cameron was a tight end who played in the NFL. He was a scout squad guy here, transferred to SC, switched sports, went Pro Bowler. I'm not saying switch sports or schools.
You heard it here first. When Caleb's playing in the NFL,
There's a history
we
here.
talked to him about it. We're going to facilitate it with Kellen Moore. So
There's a men's basketball player who's played in the NFL.
Thanks for being with us, Caleb.